Welcome back to HW Sports 90, and in this video we are going to talk about Barcelona. Recently they had agreed with their manager Xavi to continue with his current contract, which I think ends in the year 2025 in June. As we all know that Xavi Hernandez announced his departure as Barcelona manager back in February, I think. January, after the loss, the 5-3 loss to Villarreal. He announced that he will be leaving Barcelona at the end of the current season, which ends in June 2024. So Barcelona have been preparing for his departure, and candidates have been lined up, and there were interest from different managers, including Hansi Flick, who was the former Bayern Munich and also former German national team manager. We saw teams or other managers like Thomas Tuchel being lined up as a Barcelona manager. We saw the likes of Jurgen Klopp, all that, including Mikel Arteta, or maybe the return of Josep Pep Guardiola. But all these are in vanity because Xavi Hernandez has decided to stay with Barcelona and to overturn his decision back in January to leave at the end of the season, and he will now be staying with Barcelona until at least June 2025, which I think they will discuss his future, if he will continue and add a new contract or he will leave the club. So at the moment, next season, Xavi Hernandez is going to continue as the coach for FC Barcelona. Xavi Hernandez joined Barcelona in mid-season. Remember, he was the Al Sadd manager, and when Barcelona parted ways with Ronald Koeman in 2021, the November of 2021, I think, November 6th, 2021 is when Xavi Hernandez joined Barcelona as their manager from Al Sadd, and he did quite well because I think Barcelona moved from 8th position. I think they were around 8, 7, and they managed to be in top 4. So his first season was not the full season. I think he coached or managed 26 games that season. That's the 2021-2022 season, and he did quite well. And the 2022-2023, this is when Barcelona, or rather Xavi Hernandez, proved that he is indeed one of the best managers in the next 20 or maybe 30 years to come, as he won his first 2 trophies with FC Barcelona. He won the La Liga, defeating the likes of Real Madrid, Sevilla, Atletico de Madrid, Real Betis, and also he won the Super Cup. I think he won against Real Madrid in Riyadh in January 2023. So Xavi is having 2 trophies with FC Barcelona, and just as I said, I think as I said earlier, he joined Barcelona in June 6th, 2021, and things were going pretty good. And since his arrival at the Camp Nou, he has managed 136 games, and he has won a total of 85 of those 136 games, and 85 wins with only 28 losses with 23 draws. So not a bad run for a manager who is still young in the game, I remember. And he retired in 2019, and he joined Al Sadd as a manager. He was doing well when the Xavi ball was trending on social media, and he joined Barcelona as well, and it's been good. 85 wins, 28 losses with 23 draws in 136 official games with FC Barcelona. I think it's tremendous, and it's a good omen for FC Barcelona. At the moment, he has 2.04 points per game. He has 2.04 points per game with FC Barcelona. I think this is one of the reasons as to why Barcelona's board, Laporta, with the likes of Deco, have decided to keep his services, Xavi Hernandez, as far as the next season is concerned, because I think Xavi sometimes changing managers is always affecting the team and also affecting the players, as they need to adapt from one system to another. And this always happens when you're in school and a new teacher comes in to pick where the teacher who, for example, you're in a school and a new teacher comes in and he picks up the syllabus where the other teacher left, and I think it's always difficult to adapt. And this also happens in football, where a manager is being sacked and the players need to adapt from one system to another, and sometimes it takes time, and with no patience, it leads to the manager getting sacked again, and the cycle continues. We've seen that at Chelsea, and the sacked manager to call, they brought in Potter from Brighton, and it was not working at all, and he was sacked last season. So I think this is one of the reasons Barcelona are sticking with Xavi, because they don't want things like this repeating themselves. When I watched Arsenal, when Mikel Arteta was appointed, they were having ups and downs. Indeed, they were having one of the worst seasons. But when you look at them now is a total different team. The board trusted in him, even though the fans were calling for him to be sacked, but the board trusted the process and they backed him, players he wanted, and the result is being shown now, and only the thing missing is a trophy, and they are aiming to do that this season, as they are leading in the Premier League with 7 points. So I think Barcelona have learned that, and that they are trying to tread carefully with their decision. And I think sticking with Xavi Hernandez, I think, is the best decision ever they had to make this season. Remember, Barcelona is suffering financially and also in the pitch, and they need to take decisions the right way. So even though he had a good points per game with Barcelona, he's still, I think the worst Barcelona's manager in 20 years in terms of a win percentage, because Xavi Hernandez has a win percentage of 53%. The manager he succeeded was Ronald Koeman, and he had 58% of the win percentage was 58%. Kuko Setien had 64%. Valverde had a win percentage of 67. The highest the last 6 managers Barcelona had, I think the highest was Luis Enrique, who had 76 win percentage. But again, looking at the squad, that the depth and the quality of squad that Luis Enrique had, and the squad that Xavi Hernandez has at the moment, there is a very big gap, because we know they lost players like Messi, Luis Suarez, Bosque, So I think there's been a lot of changes in Barcelona. I think they were not prepared for the departure of their stars. When I look at Real Madrid, they always prepare for the departure of their stars. Remember, when Ronaldo left, they had Vinicius Jr. On the sideline waiting for his chance, and I think they did well. Bale left, they have Rodrigo, and even without Modric leaving, we know that they have Bellingham at the moment, and Casemiro left, they had Tchouaméni, Camavinga. So I think Real Madrid are always preparing for the departure of their stars, and but Barcelona, I think the departure of Lionel Messi, I think it was a shocker for them. They didn't expect that. In fact, they knew Messi will retire at Barcelona, and he will. I think he's still going strong at the moment, and I think they didn't prepare for his departure that so soon, and I think that decision affected them, and they need to be more competitive, and for them to be competitive against Real Madrid, they need a strong squad as far as next season is concerned. And this is where we're going to talk about Barcelona's transfer business, the ins and outs for Barcelona in the summer. I think they need to do that quite well, because they are in a financial crisis at the moment, and they need to sell to buy. And we are going to look at the players they need to sell or get rid of in order to bring in quality players that matches Barcelona's pedigree or playing system. So first, let's look at the players that I think Barcelona might think of getting rid of next season. And I'm going to mention a few to start with. I think Marcos Alonso will leave FC Barcelona at the end of the season. I think that is agreed already. Also leaving will be Sergio Roberto, the legend, will also be leaving Barcelona at the end of the season. I think also the players that need to leave or they need to sell are Inigo Martinez, who was assigned on a free transfer. I think from I think he came from Bilbao, and I think it has not done well because Barcelona have relied on the 70-year-old Pau Kubasi in defense partnership with Araujo, and Inigo Martinez was brought in to support Araujo, but I think his quality, I think, is not where Barcelona wants it to be. So I think he will be offloaded next season. Also, I think will be offloaded is Oro Romeo. I think will also be sold next season. So Barcelona need to sell this kind of players to generate avenue to bring in stars. I think they need to part ways with Ferran Torres. Remember, I think Ferran Torres has been good for them, but not good enough since his departure from Manchester City. No, for Guardiola to leave to let a player go that easily, I think there's something wrong with the player that you need to take a look, take keen look at it, because he left Manchester City and joined Barcelona, and there were high expectations about him, but he did not, or rather he has not reached that potential yet. And I think Barcelona should cash in now and generate the fees for next season's arrivals. Also in the list, I think Frenkie de Jong. Frenkie de Jong is a world-class player. Yeah, I can't say no to that. He is indeed a world-class player, but Barcelona's financial situation at the moment needs players who are willing to lower their wages, and I know Frenkie de Jong is reluctant to reduce his wages, and also is reluctant to sign a new deal with Barcelona, and I think they need to cash in now before his contracts run out, which means he can now live on a free, and I think that will be a big loss to FC Barcelona. So also he's been suffering from injuries, and I think Barcelona need to tread carefully with that. Frenkie de Jong, they need to sell him. Manchester United, Chelsea, I think Liverpool, or the Arsenal, I think, may be interested in his services. The Dutch midfielder, and around 6 to 80 million pound, I think, will be a good business for FC Barcelona. So I think they should part ways with Frenkie de Jong as well. So far, I think Alonso, Inigo Martinez, Oro Romeo, Ferran Torres, Sergio Roberto, and Frenkie de Jong, these are the players I think Barcelona should get rid of next summer. But if there is a need of, if a good offer arrives for Julian from Araujo, if a good offer arrived for Araujo, I think they should also let him leave. Remember, Barcelona, or rather Bayern Munich, are interested in the services of the Uruguayan defender, and with Barcelona suffering financially, I think they should cash out if the offer arrives. I think 100 millions to 120, that's range between 90 to 120. If the offer arrives, I think they should cash in on Araujo as well as Frenkie de Jong. So I won't be surprised to see Barcelona cashing out or cashing in on Araujo and also Frenkie de Jong next summer. As I said, if a good offer arrives, I think they should part ways with Frenkie de Jong and Araujo, more so Frenkie de Jong, and they need to generate the fees, or they need to bring in star players next summer. And if they sell Frenkie de Jong, they need to bring in a new midfielder, and if they sell Araujo, also they need to bring a new defender, and a cheaper one for that matter. Not only those, Barcelona have quite players on loan, and I can start naming them. They have Ansu Fati on loan at Brighton, Dest on loan PSV, Julian Araujo is on loan Las Palmas, Eric Garcia is on loan in at Girona, and also Clement Lenglet is on loan at Aston Villa. First of all, I think they should cash in on Clement Lenglet and have the fees for next summer's business. Also, they should cash out on Dest, Sardino Dest. They should sell him permanently together with Clement Longley. So Clement Longley and Zino Dest should be sold next season. Ansu Fati, I think he needs a second chance at FC Barcelona next season. They should bring him in and they should not loan him out again. Julian Araujo, I think another loan will do for him. Eric Garcia, if they manage to sell Inigo Martinez, I think they should bring in Eric Garcia to cover that position. Remember, Eric Garcia has been brilliant since his loan move to Girona from Barcelona, and I think he has done a good job with Girona. Girona are aiming for the Champions League next season. So Barcelona is they're one of the best clubs in the world, the best team in the world, and they should have quality top players. They are full of average players, and I think they should be having the top players. If I look at Real Madrid, I see if I look at the squad, I see stars everywhere. Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Cruz, Modric, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Rodrigo. These are star players, and next season they're planning to bring in Kylian Mbappe as well. So I think Barcelona should do the same. They are limited now because of financial reasons, but they can cash out on players are named to bring in star players next season. And quick on it, just looking at the players that Barcelona may require next season, there are a long list of players that Barcelona are looking for next season, and for the only thing that is blocking Barcelona from getting these players is the lack of funds, the lack of enough funds to secure the services of these players, because most of them won't come on a cheap, and Barcelona should not be signing players that are free transfers, because most of them are not quality. The quality is not good enough, but some of them I think are good enough, and they should also look at that sector, bringing in players on loan or other players on a free transfer, whom I think will be the best. And one player I think they should be looking to bring in next time, I think they should be going for Dybala, the Paulo Dybala from Roma. I think it's been good for Roma this season, and they should look at bringing this player because he will come on a cheap fee, and he will fit in enough in Barcelona as well. So just to name a few of players Barcelona are interested in, and the old players that have been linked with FC Barcelona in the past 1 month, we have Luis Diaz of Liverpool, Isak of Newcastle, Olmo of RB Leipzig, Dybala of Roma, Xavi Simons of Leipzig, Bernardo Silva of Manchester City, Kefan Thuram of Nice, Alex Garcia of Girona, Kimmich of Bayern Munich, Amadou Onana of Everton Football Club, and Nico Williams of Athletic Club. So these are just some of the players I think Barcelona have been linked with, and I want to start with Nico Williams. If you manage to sell Ferran Torres, I think they should go for Nico Williams. He's a good player on that side, on the right, on the left side of the pitch. Remember, they're having Lamine Yamal on the right, with Nico Williams on the left. I think Barcelona will be unstoppable force. Nico Williams, a young talent, and has been brilliant with Bilbao and also Spain. Also, Lamine Yamal is a good player. We've seen his quality playing for both Spain and Barcelona, and I think if they are to part ways with Ferran Torres, I think they should replace him with Nico Williams of Bilbao. That is one of the players that have been linked with FC Barcelona of late. Another one, which I think it's been now 2 years since being linked with FC Barcelona, is Bernardo Silva of Manchester City, as one of the best players for the citizens, one of the best players under Pep Guardiola in England, and I think it's been linked with Barcelona since last summer, and I think Barcelona should take the chance now. I said earlier they should part ways with Frenkie de Jong and manage to convince Manchester City to do a neat business and bring in Bernardo Silva as well. So looking at players that won't come at a cheap price are Luis Diaz, Dani Olmo, Xavi Simons, Kefan Thuram, and also Amadou Onana. I think these players won't come on a cheap, and Barcelona need to tread carefully. They need to know what they want and how they want it to be, because if they mess, I think it will be a mess for the season as well, and they need to look good they need to sit down with Xavi Hernandez and know which players they need to take out and which players they need to bring in. I think it should be a ratio of 10-5. If they take out 10 players, they should bring in 5 players. I think that will be financially a possibility financially. But Luis Diaz, I think, will be coming at a higher price, higher fee. I think instead of bringing Luis Diaz, I think they should go for Nico Williams and part ways with Ferran Torres. I think they need to bring in, if they are going to bring in Alexander Isak from Newcastle, I think they should part ways with Robert Lewandowski and bring in Isak. So they will have Isak and Peter Roque in that striking position, and Nico Williams and Sufati on the left, rather on the left, and Rafinha and Yamal on the right. In midfield, they will have Pedri, Gundogan, Gavi. If they manage to bring in Amadou Onana or Joshua Kimmich or Alex Garcia and partnered with Bernardo Silva, if they manage to part ways with Frenkie de Jong. So I think they should bring in one defensive midfielder. Since Bosco's left, I think they brought only Romeu, which I think has not been quite well for them. And they should bring in a defensive midfielder in form of either of Amadou Onana, Joshua Kimmich, or Alex Garcia of Girona as well. I believe if Barcelona will be able to do a great business this summer, if I name a few, if they manage to bring in Nico Williams, either of Onana, Amadou Onana, Kimmich, or Alex Garcia. Let's say they bring in Alex Garcia or Kimmich. They manage to bring in Kefan Thuram or Bernardo Silva, and they managed to bring in Isak as well as a striker. I think there'll be a force next season, and I think they'll be challenging Real Madrid for the title next summer, because Real Madrid, if they manage to bring in Kylian Mbappe, I think Barcelona will have a tough period or tough time competing with them if they don't if they don't do a well or a neat business next season. And as I said, they need to part ways with 2 of their stars in form of either Frenkie de Jong or Araujo if they are to bring in quality players next summer. So Xavi staying means that they need to back him as a manager. Remember, this season Barcelona have finished trophyless, dumped out of the Champions League by PSG. They lost El Clasico, which means they probably lost the league. They lost also the spark up against Real Madrid, the final, and also they were knocked out by Bilbao in the Copa del Rey. So they have finished trophyless, and next season they need to win at least 2 trophies, because this is what Barcelona is all about: winning, and only winning. So for this to happen, it can't happen magically or by miracle. They need to bring in quality players, and for that to happen, they need to also lose some quality players whom I think they will not miss much if they happen to leave the club. Let me know what you think in your comment section. Which players should Barcelona bring in, and which players should they part ways with? Thanks for your time.